The alien diplomats did not hide their curiosity anymore. After the strange gravity signal faded into background noise, they returned to their scans with renewed focus. They told themselves it was a natural event. Space was full of such things. Still, they adjusted their positions slightly. Keeping Earth in clear view, inside their lead vessel, data flowed like quiet rain. Human satellites were counted again. Shipyards were mapped. Energy use was measured across the planet. Cities glowed in uneven patterns, some bright, some dark. Like a world still deciding what it wanted to be. They are inefficient, one diplomat said. Their systems are not optimized. Yes, another replied, but they adapt quickly. The lead diplomat watched Earth's oceans turn slowly beneath clouds. Adaptation without unity leads to waste. They began preparing a longer proposal. On Earth, Hannah felt the shift in tone even before the words changed. The aliens asked fewer questions and offered more guidance. They spoke of shared patrols, of advisory councils, of limits designed to keep young worlds from harming themselves. Limits decided by whom? Hannah asked gently. By experience, the alien answered. We have seen many worlds like yours. Hannah nodded as if she accepted this. Inside, she counted the seconds far below. Day worked through the night. He cross-checked alien scans against Earth's false profiles, watching how the diplomats interpreted what they saw. It was like watching someone judge a city by looking only at its oldest buildings. They're taking the bait, he said quietly. A woman beside him frowned. What if they push harder? Day leaned back. Then we stopped smiling. He stood in a small observation room with no windows. The walls displayed projections of alien fleet positions and Earth's visible defenses. He studied the gap between what was seen and what was hidden. They believe we fear them, Eunice said through the room speaker. They believe we need them. Hune replied, that belief can turn dangerous, as Hune said, which is why it must be corrected. Slowly, Una paused. Are we ready? Hyun did not answer at once. He thought of old wars, of mistakes written in blood and ash. He thought of why some doors stayed closed, even when no one was watching. We are ready enough, he said. In orbit, the alien diplomats made a quiet decision. They would test Earth's response, not with force, but with pressure. Their message was clear and carefully polite. Earth would be welcomed into the assembly as a protected member. In exchange, humanity would accept oversight on military expansion and deep space travel. The word oversight was translated cleanly around the world. Reactions varied. Some leaders welcomed the idea. Protection sounded comforting. Others felt anger rise like heat under skin. Streets did not riot. Skies did not burn. But the planet stirred. Hannah listened to the response channels fill with arguments and fear. She waited until the noise settled. We appreciate your concern, she said at last. But Earth does not accept guardianship. There was a pause. The alien diplomats did not expect refusal so directly. You misunderstand, the lead diplomat said. This arrangement benefits you. It benefits stability, Hannah replied. Stability is not the same as freedom. Silence followed. The alien ships adjusted formation slightly, not in threat, but in discomfort. Their models of human behavior did not fit this reaction. A weaker world should have hesitated longer. They increased their scans. That was when they noticed the gaps. Certain regions of space near Earth returned no data at all. Not empty, just unreadable. Like shadows that refuse to reveal their shape. What is causing that? One diplomat asked. No known interference, another replied. It is deliberate. The lead diplomat narrowed its eyes. Deliberate concealment requires effort. On Earth, Day smiled without humor. They found the curtains. Yan straightened. How close are they? Close enough to wonder, Day said. Not close enough to see. Una folded her hands. Wonder leads to fear, as Yuan said. But fear without understanding leads to respect. The alien diplomats requested clarification. They asked about the hidden regions, about the unreadable signals, About the earlier gravity disturbance, Hannah answered with care. Some of our systems are not part of public space. Why? The alien asked. Because not all tools are meant to be displayed, Hannah replied. The answer unsettled them. In their private channel, the diplomats debated. Some argued for patience. Others warned that Earth might be more dangerous than expected. They are still young, one said. Youth hides fear behind pride, strength behind silence, another replied. The lead diplomat made a choice. We will press once more. Their next message carried a subtle shift. They spoke of consequences, of trade delays, of restricted access to shared knowledge. On Earth, Hyun watched the message scroll across the display. They think pressure will bend us. Yuna shook her head. They don't understand humans. Han agreed. They understand humans too well. They just misunderstand ourselves. Hannah listened, her face calm. When she spoke again, her voice carried something new. Not anger. Not defiance. Certainty. Earth values cooperation, she said. But cooperation requires equality. The alien diplomats reacted instantly. Equality must be earned. It already has been, Hannah replied. Another silence. Deep space stirred again. This time, the signal was impossible to ignore. Not sudden. Not violent. Just vast. The alien sensors struggled. Calculations returned impossible numbers. Mass without visible structure. Control without emission. This is no natural event, one diplomat said. No, the lead diplomat agreed. This is intent. On Earth, Day's screens filled with confirmation codes he had not seen activated in years. He swallowed. They authorized passive reveal, he said. Han closed his hands slowly. Then it begins. Yuna felt a chill. Will they understand? They don't have to, Han replied. They only have to stop assuming. In orbit, the alien ships turned toward the disturbance. Space ahead of them darkened, not with shadow, but with presence. Something was arriving without haste, as if it had all the time in the universe. The diplomats felt it then. Not fear exactly, but scale. The sense of standing too close to something vast and quiet. This exceeds projections. One whispered. The lead diplomat watched Earth's small blue world framed. Beneath the growing distortion, humans, it said slowly. What have you built? Hannah looked into the camera. She did not smile. We built a promise, she said. To ourselves. The pressure in space continued to grow, and the assembly began to realize that. Earth's silence had never been emptiness at all. Time moved differently after the first strange signal. The alien diplomats continued their talks, but nothing felt simple anymore. Their ships stayed calm in orbit, yet their internal systems worked harder than before. Sensors ran again and again, checking space around Earth, the Moon, and the empty dark beyond. From their view, humanity still looked small. Earth had many voices, many governments, many rules. That usually meant weakness. It always had before. But there were patterns now that did not fit. The lead alien diplomat watched Earth rotate slowly on the main display. They are hiding something, it said. Another diplomat replied. All young species hide weapons, as the lead said. But they hide them differently. On Earth, Hannah felt the growing pressure in every word sent from orbit. The aliens were still polite, but their patience was thinning. They asked sharper questions. They spoke more about responsibility and order. Your species has harmed itself many times, the alien voice said. We wish to prevent that from happening again, Anna answered without raising her voice. We also wish that, then accept guidance. Hannah paused just long enough to matter. Guidance is not the same as control. In another facility, Day rubbed his tired eyes and stared at a wall of numbers. He had been awake too long, but he could not rest. Too many systems were active. Too many silent confirmations were appearing in the background. They're adjusting their models, he said to no one in particular. They know something is off. Technician nearby looked nervous. Should we be worried? Day shook his head. No. This is the point where they stop guessing and start listening. Above ground, the public saw only fragments. News feeds spoke of talks and hope. People argued online. Some welcomed the aliens. Others feared them. Most just kept living their lives, unaware of how carefully the world was being held together. Hyun stood before a long table where projections floated in the air. He watched the alien fleet shift its formation slightly, not closer, not farther. Just enough to feel different? They're applying pressure without force, Yuna said beside him. Yes, Hyun replied. They believe force will not be needed. That belief can change, Yuna said. Hyun nodded. Which is why we won't let it. The alien diplomats sent a formal proposal. It was longer this time, more detailed. It spoke of shared defense, shared laws, and shared limits. Earth would gain protection, access to knowledge. And a place among the stars? In return, Earth would agree to inspections. Hannah read the message carefully. She understood why some leaders might accept it. Fear made people trade freedom for safety very easily. She looked into the camera again. Earth thanks you for your concern, she said, but we will not open our defenses for inspection. The alien response was immediate. That refusal suggests hostile intent. No, Hannah said. It suggests boundaries. Inside the alien vessel, tension spread. Their models did not like this answer. A weaker world should not set boundaries with stronger ones. Increase scans, the lead diplomat ordered. Energy fields spread quietly across space. The alien ships looked deeper, using methods that had revealed hidden fleets and secret weapons on other worlds. This time, the scans did not fail. They simply returned nothing. Impossible, one diplomat said. There should be matter here, there is another replied. But it refuses to be measured. On Earth, Day exhaled slowly. They're looking straight at it now. Ian's jaw tightened. Still nothing? Nothing they can understand, Day said. That's by design. Yuna closed her eyes for a moment. They will feel small. That is not our goal, Yuna said. No, Yuna agreed. But it may be the result. The alien diplomats debated among themselves. Some urged caution. Others felt their authority slipping. If we allow this, one said, other worlds will resist us the same way. We cannot allow disorder, another replied. The lead diplomat listened, then spoke. We will remind them of consequence. Their next message was colder. Trade access would be limited. Shared maps would be restricted. Earth's expansion beyond its system would be discouraged. On Earth, the message was received in silence. Hannah did not react at once. She looked around the room at faces filled with tension and resolve. Send acknowledgement, she said calmly. That's all? Someone asked. For now, Hannah replied. In orbit, the alien diplomats were confused. They expected anger, or fear, or negotiation. They received patience. Then space moved again. This time, there was no doubt. A deep pressure spread through the fabric of space itself. The alien ships adjusted automatically, their systems warning them of mass far beyond predicted limits. This is not a weapon, one diplomat said. This is a structure. The lead diplomat stared at the data, a moving one. Far away, beyond the moon's orbit, space bent inward. Not violently, not suddenly. It folded with careful control, as if shaped by unseen hands. On Earth, alarms stayed silent. Only those meant to know were watching. Day's voice was steady, but his hands trembled. Passive reveal confirmed. Visual phase beginning. Heian nodded once. Hold position, Yuna whispered. They will remember this moment. In the alien command chamber, a dark shape began to form against the stars. At first, it looked like an absence, a place where light did not behave correctly. Then lines appeared. Edges. Scale. This exceeds any known class. One diplomat said quietly. The shape did not rush forward. It did not signal. It simply existed, vast and calm, as if it had always been there, and was only now allowing itself to be seen. The alien fleet instinctively spread out. This world, the lead diplomat said slowly, has been preparing. Hannah's image returned to the shared channel. Her face was calm, her voice steady. We told you, she said. We value restraint. The alien diplomat struggled to respond. Is that yours? Yes, Hannah said. For what purpose? Hannah paused. So we never have to use it. The massive shape continued to emerge, still distant, still silent. It did not target the alien ships. It did not threaten, but its presence changed everything. Assembly had come to guide a young world. They were beginning to understand that Earth had grown up watching itself very carefully, and that the quiet ones were often the most prepared. The shape in space continued to grow clearer. It did not rush forward. It did not flare with energy or light. It simply unfolded, piece by piece, as if reality itself was making room for it, from the alien ships. Sensors screamed with quiet urgency. Numbers climbed past safe limits. Mass readings corrected themselves again and again, each time returning values that made no sense. This cannot be a single vessel, one diplomat said. It is too large, is controlled, another replied. Look at the stability. The lead diplomat remained silent, watching the dark lines sharpen against the stars. It felt something it had not felt in many cycles, uncertainty on Earth. Day leaned forward so close to his screens that his reflection stared back at him. The data was beautiful in a terrifying way. Every system reported perfect balance. No excess heat. No chaotic energy. It's fully phased in, he said softly. And it's holding. Jan stood behind him, hands clasped behind his back. Any active systems? None, Day replied. It's just there. Una watched the projections from another room. She felt her breath slow as the scale became impossible to ignore. Humanity had built many great things, but this was different. This was not meant to inspire hope or fear. It was meant to end questions in orbit. The alien diplomats struggled to regain control of the situation. Their ships shifted position again, this time pulling back slightly from Earth. This is an act of intimidation, one diplomat said. No, the lead replied. It is an act of confidence. The massive object completed its reveal. What once looked like darkness now showed structure. Wide, flat surfaces layered over each other. Deep channels ran along its length, swallowing light instead of reflecting it. There were no markings, no bright colors. Only clean lines and silent purpose. It has no visible weapons, one diplomat observed. Or they are simply not visible. Another said the alien fleet sent a focus signal toward the object. A simple request, identification. The signal touched the ship and slid off. The diplomats exchanged uneasy glances. It is ignoring us. On Earth, Day shook his head. It's not ignoring them. It's refusing. Ian gave a small nod. As designed, a new channel opened. Hannah appeared again, her image steady and clear. She looked smaller now, framed by the vastness behind her, but her voice did not change. You are safe, she said. It will not engage. The lead diplomat responded quickly. Then explain it. Hannah took a breath. It is a defensive asset. Defensive? The alien asked. It stands between us and your world. Yes, Hannah replied. That is defense. The alien diplomats processed this in silence. Their doctrine defined defense differently. Defense was fleets, numbers, early strikes. This was something else. Day watched a new data stream appear. Internal confirmations. Crew status. Mira reports green across the board, he said. Hune allowed himself a slow breath. Good. Inside the vast ship, Mira stood on a wide platform that curved gently with the hull. There were no windows, but she did not need them. The ship showed her everything she needed to see. She was calm. Not because she felt powerful, but because power was not the point. Hold position, she said quietly. The ship obeyed. Back in orbit, the alien diplomats attempted deeper scans. This time, the response was immediate. Their sensors went dark. Not destroyed. Not overloaded. Simply shut out. "This is impossible," one diplomat said. "Nothing can do that without force." "Humans can," the lead replied. The realization settled heavily among them. This was not a show. This was not a bluff. The vessel had done nothing aggressive. It had already proven dominance in ways the Assembly had never faced. "What is its range?" one diplomat asked. "Unknown," another replied. "Possibly system-wide, possibly beyond," the lead said. On Earth, Yuna spoke quietly. "They are recalculating everything," as Yun said, "as they should have from the start." The alien diplomats reopened communication. Their tone had changed. It was still calm, but something was missing now. Assumption. "This vessel," the lead diplomat said, "represents a level of force we did not expect." Hannah nodded. "That is why it was not expected. Is it unique?" The alien asked. Hannah did not answer right away. She looked down briefly, then back up. "No," she said. Silence filled the channel. Day felt a chill run through him. Even though he had known the answer, Hyun closed his eyes for a second. Yuna whispered, "That will echo for a long time." The alien diplomats struggled to respond. Their internal systems ran scenarios at incredible speed, but the outcomes blurred together. "How many?" one finally asked. "Enough," Hannah replied. The massive ship shifted slightly, movement so controlled it barely registered as motion. Space bent gently around it. The alien fleet pulled back another measured distance. "This changes your standing," the lead diplomat said carefully. "It does not," Hannah replied. "It only reveals it." Inside the Assembly's private channel, arguments erupted. Some called for withdrawal. Others warned against offending a power they could not measure. "We came to guide," one said. "Now we are the ones being guided." "No," another replied. "We are being warned." The lead diplomat ended the debate with a raised hand. "We will continue talks." The word surprised even itself. On Earth, Haon nodded once. "Good." Mira watched the alien ships from her command platform. She felt no pride, only responsibility. The Titan-class ship was not a symbol meant to rule the stars. It was a reminder. Day leaned back in his chair, exhaustion finally catching up with him. They didn't fire. They didn't threaten. Hyun looked at the projection of the massive ship holding silent guard. They didn't need to. Hannah continued speaking with the diplomats, her voice steady, her words simple. "We wish to cooperate," she said, "but we will not be managed." The alien diplomat answered slowly. "Your species has learned restraint." Hannah nodded. "We learned it the hard way." The Titan-class ship remained in place, unmoving, unchallenged. Its presence filled space without noise or anger, for the first time since leaving their home systems. The Aurelian Assembly felt something new. They were not the largest thing in the room, and Earth, quiet and watchful beneath them, had finally been seen. The presence of the massive ship changed the rhythm of everything. The alien fleet no longer drifted with quiet confidence. Very movement was careful now, measured in small distances and slow turns. Their formation widened, leaving more space between each vessel, as if space itself had become fragile. Inside the alien command chamber, the diplomats spoke in low tones. Their voices were calm, but their thoughts were not. Models collapsed one after another. Old rules no longer applied. We misjudged them. One diplomat said, "We judge them as we judge ourselves." Another replied. The lead diplomat remained silent, watching the Titan-class ship hold its position. It did nothing. It threatened nothing, and yet it controlled the space around it completely. "That is restraint," the lead said at last, "not weakness." On Earth, the shift was felt even more strongly. Leaders who had argued now listened. Military channels stayed quiet, but alert. No one wanted to be the one who broke the calm. Hannah remained at her station, speaking with the alien diplomats as if nothing unusual had happened. Her tone did not change. Her words stayed simple and clear. "You have seen our position," she said. "We would like to continue talks." The alien diplomat responded slowly. "Yes, we would." That answer alone marked a change. Day watched the alien fleet's energy readings drop. "They're standing down," he said. "Not retreating, just adjusting." Hugh nodded. "They are accepting reality." Una looked at the projection of the Titan-class ship. Reality can be heavy. Inside the massive vessel, Mira listened to quiet reports. Crew members spoke only when needed. The ship did not hum or shake. It existed like a mountain floating in space. "Maintain position," Myra said again. The ship obeyed. The alien diplomats requested a limited demonstration, not of weapons, but of control. They wanted proof that what they saw was real, not illusion. Hyun considered the request carefully. "Minimal," he said. "Nothing that looks like a threat." Hannah relayed the answer. "We will demonstrate control only." Moments later, space near the Titan-class ship changed. A field appeared. It's almost invisible, stretching outward in a perfect arc. Small pieces of debris, old satellites, and drifting metal slowed as they touched it. They did not crash. They did not burn. They stopped. The alien sensors reacted instantly. "Gravitational manipulation," one diplomat said. "At this scale?" "Imperfectly stable," another added. The field faded as smoothly as it had appeared. The debris continued on new paths, gently redirected, no force. No violence, only control. The alien command chamber fell silent. "This technology," the lead diplomat said, "could dominate entire systems." Anna replied. "It could protect them as well." The words mattered. On Earth, they leaned back slowly. "That should end the arguments," Hyun exhaled. "It will begin new ones." Yuna nodded. Respect changes everything. The alien diplomats reopened negotiations, this time with a different structure. No more oversight. No more limits placed only on Earth. They spoke of mutual agreements, of shared boundaries, of equals. Hannah listened carefully. She corrected small details. She removed old assumptions from their wording. Earth did not accept protection. Earth offered partnership. The alien diplomats agreed. Inside their private channel, the assembly recorded new data. Earth was no longer classified as developing. It was reclassified as sovereign, back on the Titan-class ship. Mira allowed herself a small breath of relief. The most dangerous moment had passed. Not because of weapons, but because understanding had finally arrived. She knew it would not last forever. Nothing ever did, but it was enough for now. The alien fleet remained in orbit for another cycle. They did not move closer. They did not demand more. They observed. They learned. On Earth, people went about their lives. Children went to school. Trains ran. Lights turned on at night. Most never knew how close the world had come to being. Misunderstood, Day watched the final data logs close. "They're recording everything," he said. "Yes," Hyun replied. "So will we." Yuna looked up at the stars on the screen. "Do you think they're afraid?" Hyun considered the question. "I think they're careful." "It's better," Yuna said. Hannah received a final message for the day from the alien diplomats. It was short. "We acknowledge your standing." Hannah allowed herself a small smile. The Titan-class ship remained in place a little longer, then slowly shifted back, increasing the distance between itself and the alien. Fleet not retreating, making space. The alien diplomats watched it move. Silent and vast, they understood now that humanity had not built such power to rule. It had built it to survive itself. And in that understanding, something changed for the first time. The assembly did not see Earth as a problem to solve. They saw it as a force that had already solved its own worst questions. And that made it far more dangerous and far more trustworthy than they had ever expected. The final day of talks began quietly. There were no new demands, no sharp words, no pressure hidden behind polite language. The alien fleet held its distance, steady and calm, as if it had learned where comfort ended and respect began. On Earth, the rooms that had once felt tense now felt focused. Screens showed stable signals. Voices stayed low and measured. The world did not celebrate. It waited. Hannah reviewed the last exchange before opening the channel. The words mattered more now than they had at any other point. Not because of fear, but because meaning would last longer than memory. She looked into the camera. "We are ready to conclude," she said. The alien diplomat appeared. Its posture was different. Less rigid. "More open, we agree," it said. "This meeting has changed our understanding." That was not an apology. But it was close enough to one. In orbit, the Titan-class ship remained motionless. It had not moved for a long time. It did not need to. Its presence had already done its work. Inside the ship, Myra stood quietly, listening. She had given no orders beyond holding position. The crew understood. Sometimes command meant knowing when not to act. Day watched a steady line of data scroll across his screen. No spikes, no hidden maneuvers. "They're stable," he said. "No surprises?" Hugh nodded. "Good. Let's keep it that way." Una leaned forward. "They're about to record this officially. In the alien command chamber, the assembly's record systems activated. This was not just a meeting anymore. It was history. "We acknowledge Earth as a sovereign power," the lead diplomat said. "Independent, equal, responsible for its own defense and expansion," the words echoed through human channels. Hannah listened carefully. Then she replied, "Earth accepts this standing. We offer cooperation, not control. Peace, not dominance." The alien diplomat inclined its head. Accepted. Around the world, leaders released held breaths. Some smiled. Some sat in silence. A few cried without knowing why. No cheers echoed through the streets. No flags were raised in orbit. Humanity did not need to prove anything anymore. The Titan class. Ship began to move. Slowly, carefully, it shifted its position. The space around it relaxed, like a tide pulling back. Gravity returned to its natural flow. Sensors across the alien fleet recovered fully. "It's withdrawing," one diplomat said. "No," the lead replied. "It's stepping aside." The massive ship did not leave the system. It simply moved far enough away to no longer stand between Earth and the assembly. A choice on Earth Day smiled faintly. They noticed when allowed himself to sit for the first time in hours. Good, watched the stars. That was the right ending. Inside the Titan-class ship, Mira gave her first new order in a long while. "Reduce presence. Maintain readiness." The ship complied. Systems powered down to quiet levels. It became less visible, not by hiding, but by no longer insisting on attention. The alien diplomats sent a final message. "We will report this encounter fully," they said. "Others will ask questions." Hannah nodded. "We expect that. What will you tell them?" The alien asked. Hannah did not answer right away. She chose her words carefully. "Tell them we are careful," she said. "Tell them we learn from ourselves." The alien diplomat considered this. That may be enough. The channel closed. In the quiet that followed, Earth did not rush forward. It did not expand. It did not chase the stars. It watched Hoyon, looked around the room. "Stand down from alert," he said. "But keep eyes open." He stretched his tired hands. "I think I can finally sleep." Una smiled gently. "The universe just got bigger," his hand said. "And smaller." Days passed. The alien fleet remained for a short time, then slowly departed. Their ships left no marks, no scars in space, only records. Across the assembly, reports spread. Analysts argued. Strategists recalculated. Old assumptions were erased. Earth was listed as Tier 1, not because it was the strongest, because it was the most prepared to stop. On the Titan-class ship, Mira watched the distant stars drift across the display. She felt no pride, only relief. Humanity had shown its hand, and chosen not to close it into a fist back on Earth. Hannah walked outside for the first time in days. The sky was blue. Clouds moved slowly. Nothing looked different. Everything was, she thought of the ship in space, of the quiet strength it represented, of the promise it carried, not to conquer, but to never be cornered again. Far beyond Earth, the alien diplomats traveled home. They did not speak much. Each carried the same thought. The most dangerous species was not the loudest. It was the one that learned how to survive itself and chose restraint. The Titan-class ship remained on silent watch. Far from sight, far from fear, humanity stepped into the wider universe, not as a child, not as a ruler, but as an equal, and the stars took note. Time passed in a quiet way. Not days marked by alarms or sudden news, but weeks shaped by small choices and careful habits. Earth did not rush into the stars. It watched the lanes of space open slowly, like roads after a storm. The alien fleet was long gone. Their departure had been calm, almost respectful. They left behind records, not warnings. For the first time, Earth was not guessing what the wider universe thought of it. It knew. Hannah returned to routine work, though nothing felt routine anymore. Messages arrived from distant systems, polite and cautious. Invitations to speak, requests to observe. No one asked to lead Earth. No one asked to limit it. They asked to understand it. Hannah read each message carefully. She answered with the same steady voice she had used from the beginning. "We are open," she said often, "but we move carefully." Those words traveled far. In a deep monitoring center, Day adjusted his schedule for the first time in months. He slept. He ate real food. Still, his eyes always returned to the stars. New signals appeared every day now. Probes, couriers, long-range greetings sent at safe distances. They're circling. He told Han during a quiet briefing, "Not like hunters. Like people deciding how close to stand." Yoon nodded. "That's better than fear, is it?" Day asked. Yoon considered. "Fear fades. Respect stays." Yuna spent her days studying the data the aliens had left behind. Not weapons. Not secrets. Models. Old maps. Warnings written into numbers. She saw patterns of collapse. Worlds that grew too fast. Species that reached too far before learning how to stop. "They survive by control," she said one evening. "Not ours. Their own." "That sounds familiar," Jan replied. "Yes," Yuna said. "That's why they finally recognized us." Far from Earth, the Titan-class ship remained where it was meant to be. Not hidden, not displayed. It moved slowly along a distant orbit, far enough to avoid shadows, close enough to answer if needed. Inside, Mira walked the long, curved corridors. The ship felt alive in a quiet way, not like a creature, but like a promise that remembered its purpose. "Status?" she asked. "All systems stable," came the reply. "No external threats?" Mira nodded. Good. She did not ask for more. The universe tested Earth soon enough. The first incident was small. A distant system sent a warning. Pirates. Not many. Not powerful. Just enough to test reactions. Earth listened. Hyun stood before the council, his voice calm. "We will not deploy the Titan," some argued. Others nodded. Hannah supported him. "If we answer every problem with overwhelming force," she said, "then force becomes our language. So what do we do?" Someone asked. "We help without showing teeth," Hannah replied. Earth sent aid, sensors, advisors, quiet escorts. The pirates vanished without a fight, confused by resistance that did not chase them. The message spread. Earth was not passive, but it was patient. Another test followed. Months later, a stronger power pushed boundaries. Probing Earth's lanes with legal questions and quiet threats, the Titan-class ship did not move. Instead, Earth spoke. Clear words. Clear limits, the pressure stopped. Day watched the outcome in silence. "They're learning faster now," he said. "Yes," Hyun replied. "So are we." Yuna noticed something else. The way Earth's own people changed. The old fear of the unknown softened. Children learned star maps in school. Artists painted ships not as monsters, but as bridges. The Titan became a symbol without being seen. That was the goal. One day, a message arrived marked with a familiar signature. The Aurelian Assembly requested a follow-up meeting. Not in orbit. On neutral ground. Hannah read the request twice, then smiled. The meeting took place far from Earth, near a quiet star with no worlds. A shared station was built for the purpose, simple and open. No fleets, no hidden angles. Hannah arrived with a small team. Heian came as advisor. Yuna joined as observer. Day stayed behind. Watching from afar, the alien diplomats arrived alone. We came to listen. The lead diplomat said. That's new, Hannah replied. It is learned, the alien said. They spoke for a long time. Not of power, but of limits, of mistakes. Of how many worlds had burned because no one knew when to stop building. You built the Titan, the alien said. Why did you not use it? Hannah answered honestly. Because it was built to end questions, not arguments. The alien considered this. Then you may last. After the meeting, the assembly made a rare announcement. A new classification was added. Earth was listed as a stabilizing power, not dominant, not submissive. Stable. Back on the Titan-class ship, Mira received the update without ceremony. She stood alone for a moment, then looked out at the starfield. Good, she said softly. She knew the ship might never fire a weapon. That was success. On Earth, Hannah walked through a park where children played under an open sky. No one looked up in fear. Planes crossed overhead. Life continued. She thought of the first moment the aliens arrived, of how quiet space had felt. It felt different now. Not crowded, connected far away. New ships launched from distant worlds. They kept their distance from Earth's space. Not because they were told to, because they understood. Day logged the final report of the year. No major threats. No deployments. No panic. He paused before closing the file. We did it, he said quietly. Hyun, standing nearby, shook his head. No, he replied. We're doing it. Yuna looked up at the stars through a window. That's better. The Titan-class ship continued its silent watch. Not as a warning, as a reminder. Humanity had learned, it's what many never did, that the greatest strength was not the power to destroy, it was the discipline to stop, and the universe, vast and patient, finally made room for that kind of strength.